This is PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube.
On the news, President Bola Tinubu is set to join global and continental leaders in Abuja as Nigeria hosts the largest Afreximbank Annual Meeting ever, positioning itself at the heart of Africa's trade and economic future.
President Bola Tinubu is expected to join over 6,000 global delegates in Abuja for the 32nd annual meetings of Afreximbank, Africa's biggest trade and finance gathering and the largest edition ever held on the continent. Held at the Transcorp Hilton from June 25th to 28th, the summit brings together heads of states, central bank governors, global business giants, investors and policymakers from over 80 countries. This year's theme, Owning Our Destiny, Economic Prosperity on the Pillars of Resilience and Self-Reliance, speaks directly to the continent's push for deeper integration and sustainable trade. Afreximbank's Director of Communication, Ann Eze, rallied journalists not just to report, but to champion Africa's transformation from a continent of challenges to one of global opportunity.
You see a team doesn't just write concept notes, but actually roll up their sleeves and do the work. You see an institution that says its mandate is to build prosperity in Africa and actually building prosperity in Africa.
She spotlighted the bank's extraordinary growth under outgoing President Benedict Orama from a $4 billion to a $40 billion balance sheet in just a decade. Heavyweights like Aliko Dangote, Tony Elumelu, Jeffrey Sachs and former President Olusegun Obasanjo are in attendance, reflecting the growing influence of Afreximbank as a continental institution. Media, especially from Africa and the Caribbean, have been urged to engage deeply, visit Afreximbank-supported industrial zones and tell stories of real progress. Joycelyn Ella Keche Ada, PS News.
Petrol just got more expensive in Nigeria as the NNPCL Limited hikes pump prices again, driven by soaring global oil prices, a weakening naira, and the country's heavy reliance on fuel imports.
The pump price of petrol has just gone up again, this time adjusted upward by the NNPCL. For many Nigerians, this means more strain on transportation, food prices, and everyday costs. But what's driving this increase? At the heart of this adjustment is the rising cost of crude oil in the international market, now hovering above $85 per barrel. Add to that the weakening of the naira against the dollar, and you get a double squeeze of fuel landing costs. Since Nigeria imports most of its refined fuel, these two factors directly affect what consumers pay at the pump. NNPCL, now operating as a commercial entity, no longer enjoys the blanket of subsidy. It's adjusted its prices to reflect market reality and cover costs. However, for an average Nigerian, this feels like a never-ending burden, especially with inflation already biting. So, how should this be explained? It's simple: global market pressures, weak currency, and import dependence. Until Nigerian refines locally at full capacity, price volatility may remain the new normal.
The leadership crisis within the People's Democratic Party has taken a new turn as top PDP leaders stormed INEC headquarters in Abuja. At the center of the dispute is the party's national secretary position, with conflicting claims and court rulings fueling internal tensions.
The internal leadership battle within the People's Democratic Party reached a new level as acting national chairman, Ambassador Umar Damagum, led top party figures including 4 sitting governors and several former lawmakers to INEC headquarters in Abuja. The meeting, requested by the PDP, aimed to resolve confusion over who legitimately holds the position of the party's national secretary, a conflict intensified by court rulings and conflicting internal decisions. Damagum told INEC officials that the party had faced legal challenges since last year over the position, culminating in a Supreme Court judgment that upheld the appointment of Ode Okoye, while also nullifying earlier judgments that removed Senator Samuel Anyanwu. Since then, both men have laid claim to the role, sending conflicting letters to INEC. The most recent communication lacked a secretary's signature entirely, raising concerns at INEC. INEC Chairman Professor Mahmoud Yakubu welcomed the delegation but pointed out procedural lapses. He noted that while PDP had always complied with protocol in the past, the current situation has created regulatory confusion, with 4 different names presented as secretary over time. The issue began after Anyanwu emerged as PDP governorship candidate in Imo State last year, prompting the Southeast zonal leadership to replace him with Ode Okoye, a move that split party loyalties. After a closed-door meeting lasting nearly 2 hours, Damagum told reporters that discussions were productive and promised to brief party leadership before disclosing further details to the public. For now, the PDP's internal rift continues, and INEC awaits clarity to determine who officially speaks for the party. Following the meeting, the PDP officially reinstated Senator Samuel Anyanwu as National Secretary. Acting Chairman Ambassador Umar Damagum made the announcement at the party's headquarters in Abuja, flanked by Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed, former Senate President Bukola Saraki, and other key stakeholders. Damagum admitted the decision was difficult, but said it reflected internal consensus within the National Working Committee. He also confirmed that the planned NEC meeting had been cancelled, and in its place an external caucus meeting will hold on June 30th to address unresolved issue and chart a way forward. This is Samuel Akban for PS News.
A sudden ceasefire has been announced between Iran and Israel, just hours after deadly strikes rocked both nations, pushing the region to the brink of an all-out war.
In a late-night social media post, United States President Donald Trump declared that both countries had agreed to a complete and total ceasefire, ending what he called the 12-day war. The ceasefire is set to take effect in phases, first Iran, then Israel, after both sides scale down military operations. But on the ground, tensions are far from over. Explosions were reported in Tehran, Karaj, and Rasht overnight. Iran's air defenses were activated, while Israel confirmed that missile attacks continued into the early hours, with casualties reported in Beersheba. The US reportedly struck Iranian nuclear sites before brokering the ceasefire, damaging facilities but falling short of fully dismantling Iran's enrichment capabilities. Meanwhile, Iran launched a limited strike on the USAI Udeid base in Qatar, escalating diplomatic tensions in a country known for its neutrality. Despite Trump's optimism, neither Tehran nor Jerusalem has publicly confirmed the deal. Analysts warn the truce is fragile, while conflicting messages and continued hostilities casting doubt on how long it will hold. For now, global markets are reacting positively, but all eyes remain on whether this truce marks the end of hostilities or just a brief pause in the deeper conflict. Tessa Phillips, PS News.
Nigeria takes the spotlight as Abuja gears up to host Africa's top youth athletes, while controversy brews over sprinter Favour Fili's alleged switch to Turkey.
Nigeria is gearing up for a major moment on the African sports calendar as Abuja prepares to host the 2025 Confederation of African Athletics Under-18 and Under-20 Championships. The event, scheduled for July 16 to 20, will bring over 900 young athletes from across the continent to the MKO Abiola Stadium following Algeria's withdrawal as host. Director General of the National Sport Commission, Bukola Olopade, says the city is fully ready, crediting Chairman Shehu Diko for stepping in to secure Nigeria as host. Major sponsors like MTN, 7up, FIRS, and Letco are already backing the event, signaling growing private sector interest. In fact, Olopade revealed that the private sector has pumped over 12 billion naira into Nigerian sports in the past 7 months alone. But amid the excitement, controversy is brewing over reports that Nigerian sprint star Favour Ofili has switched allegiance to Turkey. Olopade confirmed that while Ofili is still officially on the NSC payroll and recently paid, the commission says it has not received formal notification of her move and insists she remains a Nigerian athlete for now. Despite the alleged switch, the NSC says it remains committed to athlete welfare and elite performance. A new podium board has been set up to address athlete support as Nigeria looks to reassert itself on the global sports stage, both by hosting world-class events and by keeping its top talent in green and white. This is Samuel Akpan.
You just watched PSN Newsrun, streaming exclusively on YouTube. This is your trusted voice for news that matters. Subscribe, like, share, and stay informed.